In this short video, I'm going to briefly talk about the symptoms of a peripheral neuropathy. The main symptoms of a peripheral neuropathy would be a burning sensation in the feet, numbness and tingling in the feet, pain, unsteadiness as you're walking or reduced balance, and patients will actually often report that they feel they have a pair of socks on when they don't. So patients will often ask, if nerves aren't working, why would they cause pain? Would it not just be numbness? And the reality is it can lead to both pain and numbness. And this is because when there are less nerve fibres present, numbness can occur, but the nerve fibres that are left over will often be hypersensitive, and that's then how pain can occur, because they're kind of trying to compensate for the nerve fibres that are gone. One of the biggest risks with a peripheral neuropathy is that of an increased risk of falling. So this can happen for a number of reasons. Firstly, if you have reduced sensation in your feet, you're not getting the continual sensory feedback to your brain that will give you information such as the ground has become uneven, there's something I'm walking towards that I'm going to have to walk out of the way of, and those kinds of typical day-to-day things that happen when you're walking. So if you're not getting the same sensory signals that are letting the brain know where the foot is and what's underneath the foot, then the compensation will be slower, and that can then increase the risk of falling. Another thing that can happen is that the pattern of walking, or the gait pattern, can become abnormal. Now, this won't be something that is obvious to anybody, and it probably won't even be obvious to you, but what's actually happening is the length of your walking stride is reduced and the hips are slightly wider apart in order to try to compensate and maintain balance. In normal circumstances, that's fine. So if you're walking at a relaxed pace on an even ground, this shouldn't cause you any problems. It'll pose a risk of falling when the ground becomes uneven, or if you have to pick up your walking speed. So if you're walking across a road quickly, or you're walking quickly to get into a car or get on a bus, that might be a time when these gait pattern changes become more relevant. Another important component of the walking pattern is the contribution of the ankle and foot. So as you're walking, the ankle joint and the foot are helping to propel the leg forward and give the momentum of the walking pattern. And if the sensory fibres that are in the joint and in the muscles aren't as efficient, then this momentum contributed by the foot will be reduced. And again, your body is great at compensating for things. So what it does to compensate is it increases the movement of the hip so that it allows the leg to be propelled forward from the hip rather than from the foot. Again, if you're walking like on an even ground, at a relaxed pace, it shouldn't really cause you too many problems. It's more, again, if you have to walk quickly, or something unexpected comes under your foot or comes in front of you. So what can then happen in patients who have a peripheral neuropathy is they will feel that activity is a risk for them, and this will lead them to become physically inactive. So even though the peripheral neuropathy itself probably won't have a huge impact upon motor function, what can happen from being inactive is that the muscles can become weaker just simply from lack of use. And obviously this can also contribute to that increased risk of falls. So it only rarely occurs that similar symptoms would happen in the arms. If the symptoms do progress to the hands, it would normally take the form of pain or burning in the hands, or if there was numbness, then you might find that things might drop out of your hand without your realizing that that's happening. So that was just a short summary of some of the symptoms of a peripheral neuropathy. Going forward, I'm going to be working with my physiotherapist, and we're going to bring a number of exercise videos that are specifically designed for patients who have a peripheral neuropathy. So I hope this helps.